Hello there, I'm Felix, music producer and singer from Germany. I sing in a band called Dominum, and we've released 2 albums yet, Hey Living People and The Dead Don't Die. And we are about to finish the 3rd record. And you know how it is, like when you look for a sound or when you look for a preset that you've done before, you scout through a session that's been like 2 years old, and to catch that preset or whatever you're looking for. And then I thought, like, okay, this is actually kind of cool. It's a cool song, and maybe you are interested in how a typical Dominum song gets put together, or how it is developed, even though there's not a very very common answer for that, because every song is very different. But yeah, maybe you're interested, maybe you're not, then this is not the right video for you. But if you are interested on how those things go, I would like to guide you through a session. And yeah, it's the song called Don't Get Bitten by the Wrong Ones, because it is a zombie band that I play in, that I sing in. And so the song is called, of course, Don't Get Bitten by the Wrong Ones. I work in Reaper, first of all, which probably not a lot of people do that, but I do. So yeah, you have to deal with this. And just to get a vibe of the song, I want to play you real quick the chorus, and then we'll talk about this.
It's come, don't get bitten by the wrong ones. I don't wanna bleed before I'm dying. I don't wanna see the dead man rising. I scream at the top of my lungs. Don't get bitten by the wrong ones. I don't want myself be torn to pieces. I don't wanna change my inner species. Watch out for the freaks they come. Don't get bitten by the wrong ones. I don't know where to go, but I keep moving on. The town I leave behind.
And so on and so forth. So this is the song. It's called Don't Get Bitten by the Wrong Ones. And as you can tell, it's a song for gray days. It's not, maybe not a summer hit that you hear on the beach. Maybe you do. Yeah, but let's see what we have here. So this song starts with a synth that like goes through all the song. And this happens oftentimes, that a song begins with a certain sound, maybe, and this arrangement was started with, I think, this very synth. I mean, I have to tell you one thing. I didn't open this session for approximately 1 year, so I'm already ashamed of how it sounds, how the faders are, how the balance is. So you know that you are ashamed 10 minutes after you finish the mix. You're ashamed of it. So so please, I don't know what any of those tracks are, but I assume that this is the lead synth track. So let's have a listen. Yeah, so
I'm talking to myself.
So this is a synth sound that goes through all the song. I don't really remember what the sound was created with, and but it doesn't really matter. It's an analog synth, and it gets pushed through all the song. So yeah, this is like the red line that goes through the song. And let's see what else happens here in the first verse on the synths. Oh wow, I immediately have to tell you one thing. This year, I think both of those tracks so whenever I have a vision in mind that I don't know how to produce, or how to achieve, I call someone that can. And in this case, it was Konstantin Krieg. So big shout outs to Konstantin. Hello, thank you so much. And he did such great stuff in this song. And not only this Stranger Things vibey thing here, also stuff that happens in the chorus I want to show you later on. And he is an initial keyboard player. I'm not. I come from guitars and drums. So I play very basic keyboards. I only play very, you know, I play something and then I edit it in the computer. But he really has the magic in his hands. So he plays different voicings and different phrasings that I would never be able to play, because I don't know how to play them and I don't have it in my muscle memory, and he does. So there's stuff in the chorus, for instance, there is this pad that I want to show you. Let's see where it is, which sounds so broad and cool. The way the left and the right hands come together, I would never be able to play anything like this. So he has the magic, and if you listen to it together with the guitars, it makes it so bright, so wide, and so three-dimensional. It's just a very unique thing. Let's compare guitars with and without this synth. Let's see. With. Oh no. So as you can tell, the guitars get very wide with this pad, even though it doesn't sound really metal on its own, but it adds something up to the guitars that makes it just a little bit wider. Talking about guitars, I think this is not super special here, what we have. Let's see. Yeah, this looks very typical for an arrangement that I've done. It's basically some Bogren stuff going on. Yeah, it's the Bogren Trivium rhythm. I mean, all of them are really good. I used to use the Ref C Mesa Boogie emulation. I also very much like the PV one, but I don't care too much. It's because I have to tell you also that I don't mix my own records in which I also perform, because I arrange all that stuff and then I'm in too deep, so someone else needs to do it. And luckily Jacob Hansen had time to mix those two records, and he reamps guitars anyway. So if you listen to that stuff without the emulation, it sounds like this. That's a typical DI guitar, which we track through a radial, what is it called, J48 DI box with EMG guitars. So yeah, this is just a regular quad-tracked guitar. Let's see what those sound like. So the first two guitars are power chord guitars, and the second pair of guitars is single note guitars. So that gives a little bit more clarity, I think, if you mix it together. I slowly fade in the single note guitars and see how the definition changes. Yeah, it just gives another layer, which is kind of cool, I think. If we're talking about guitars, let's see what else is going on in the verse. What do we have here? Something printed. Oh, wow.
I'm paralyzed by fear. I'm worried about my mental health.
That's cool. That is something printed. Let's see if we are lucky. And if I unfreeze this, we might be able to see what was going on. It seems we are lucky. That is cool. So that is a amp knob by Bogren Digital, which is very low in gain. Let's bypass all of this and make a little loop. Yeah. So I think that this kind of stuff is very typical for Dominum, especially this plugin, this RC20 retro color thing, which I've seen on YouTube. It's a very cool plugin, and you can do a lot of cool stuff with it, especially those noise distortion, digital stuff. I don't really know what's going on, but you don't need to know everything. You know, just play around with the knobs and see what happens. And I remember that I did this in a lot of songs, also on Hey Living People, for instance. It starts with a similar sound, which probably was something with this. But this is everything for guitars on this. We have some lead guitars going on as well. Let's see. Oh, quite a bunch actually. Let's see what happens in the chorus. Nice. That's cool. So that is something I probably printed. So Jacob would use this exact sound, because if he would reamp it with one of his amps and cabinets, it would sound completely different. This is a very designed sound. It's a sound design actually. So if I mute this, let's see how it sounds. Yeah, it gives another octave layer, which is very subtle to be honest, but it does something. Let's see what those two are doing. So, oh, it's just an octave chord, regular octave chord with, again, Jens Bogren, and it gives another layer. As you can tell, when I mute those guitars, it still sounds big, of course, but it gives another layer of octaves and another layer of harmonics to the whole thing. There's something going on in the second verse. Let's see. Tremolo guitar. Yeah, it's nothing too fancy. It just gives a little bit of vibe, because vibe is what we need. Vibe is very important to songs. So that is what we need. We have 3 lead tracks. Why would we have 3 of those? Let's see what's going on here. It's a guitar solo, which sounds like this. Oh, nice. So here we decided to go with this very special chorusy thing by Universal Audio, which gives that kind of, I don't know, it's a little Aussie reminiscence, let's say, and we just thought it's cool, and I think that is also something that ended up on the record. Let's see what the second layer is here. That was just a lower octave, and what is the third? Wow. Of course, if you can't decide what octave you go for, you take all of them. So this is what it sounds together. Nice, 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 nice. I think in the end there is a little reprise of that solo, but it seems like the lower octave is not active here. Yeah, and probably this volume drop here is active because there's some vocals going on that come in on that very place, and then to make space for them, I drop them here in volume. But this is just an automation thing. So yeah, that's everything about guitars. But we came from synths originally, and I wanted to show you everything that's going on because I think it's so cool. There's so much cool stuff that also Konstantin has done. I showed you the cool pad in the chorus. There is some strings going on back in the last chorus only. Let's see what's here. Oh, I remember this. I think there is a sideline in the chorus that just was emphasized by this string line. Let's see what happens here. Yeah, this is probably a complex sound. I don't remember exactly what I did. It's some Omnisphere, some BBC Symphony Orchestra, some more brassy things, and one more, and one more Omnisphere, I think. Yeah, a lot of piano, a lot of brass, horns, all of that stuff, and it's together, it sounds like this. And when the last chorus comes, it gets another layer, which is those strings here. And this looks like there is another thing going on that plays something similar. Let's see what this is here. Uh-huh. Oh, that is cool. That is a cool company. They do such great plugins. It's Teleton. I always mix the things up. It's Undine or Undine or whatever you call it. If you lack of an idea of what you should do, just get a cool library of plugins that just deliver cool presets, cool sounds, and then you could come up with something like this, because I think this might also be, let's see. This might also be a similar sound that we did Immortalis Dominum with. So this is where this originally might have come from. And if you thought a sound was cool, just use it again and put it in a different picture. I had this cool tape echo and had it in a different function, and it adds up to the sideline quite nicely. So let's listen together with all this stuff. It gives a nice wobbly vibe and a little bit instability to it, which I really like. Let's see what else is going on in the chorus. It's a lot, to be really honest. Wow. Let's see. Uh-huh. I don't remember what I did here, but it's something printed and that I manually pitch shifted. So this is -5, this is -2, and so on and so forth. And yeah, it's probably just another layer that gives depth. Let's see what we have here. I think it's another sideline that gives just a little tempo. Aha. So this is supposed to give some tempo to this. So if we mute this, let's see what happens. It gives a little bit of movement to it so that you want to shake your body a little bit more. And this is what we want, right? Here we have some brass death. I don't know what this is. Let's see. So there is probably some brass with some octave on it to make it sound more evil. This is the synth of Don't Get Bitten by the Wrong Ones. If we listen to only the synth group, here it sounds like this. So as you can tell, it's a lot of different stuff. Everything, it seems a little bit random, but this is just because I didn't open the session for 1 year, so I don't remember what I did. But usually I try to do as least as I can, and everything that's in there has a certain function. So there's nothing that I do, okay, let's do another pad, because I don't really like to layer too much stuff. But here it seemed like it all adds up and it all made sense at this point. And also Jacob didn't complain while mixing. So probably it was all right. There is another folder that I call prod, which means production. And there's also a lot of stuff going on. Let's listen what's going on in the chorus. So as you can tell, it's a lot of noise, it's a lot of rising, it's a lot of whatever, church bells as well. So this is just stuff that I collected and that I like to use. Also, there's a little cool stomp groove, and I also think I heard a loop in here. Let's see where it is. You know, it gives me kind of Michael Jackson, all I want to say is that they don't really care about us vibes. But yeah, this is just some stuff. And this here, that's a funny little detail. Maybe that's a little trick that you could steal. It's a high string that just does some frequency magic that I like to use from time to time. It's a track that sounds like this. It's probably Nexus, yeah. It's Nexus, some string thing, very high. And listen to the high end when I mute this track. It's very subtle again, but it adds up a little bit of movement to this groove and to this arrangement, and also some frequency that's just shiny things that I could never do with a, let's say, guitar. We forgot something, which is bass guitar. Let's see what's going on here. Yeah. I mean, it's just a cool bass guitar by Patient Zero. He plays a very nice bass, and all of the boys play very nicely, and I'm very happy. I have to mention that those drums that you're listening right now are still programmed drums, because the process is usually that we record everything. Usually we start with vocals, and when the vocals are done, everything goes to Patient Zero and Tommy, and they do their magic with guitar and bass. Most of the times everything is sketched down, so it's not that random, but sometimes they have great ideas and then we implement it to the arrangement. And when we are done with everything, we travel to Denmark and record drums with Jacob. So we are able to do everything in one bunch and don't have to travel a lot of times to Denmark, because we are in Nuremberg and Berlin and Cologne, and Denmark is pretty far away from where we live. So this is like the production stuff. I don't know if you're interested in what else is going on. I'm interested. Let's see what's in the verse. It's a heartbeat. Feels completely unnecessary. No, it does something. That's also that I had to learn. You have to trust your past self. So the past Felix did think of something when he programmed this heartbeat that he probably found on Splice. So trust him and don't question his decision. This looks fancy. What is going on here? It's a riser going onto the chorus. Something that I printed probably. Aha. it looked fancier than it was. So that was the production stem, and what is left? It's the vocals, which is also kind of important for Dominum because we like vocals. As I'm a, you know, the thing is, when you're a guitar player, you write with your guitar. When you're a bass player, you come up with cool bass stuff. And I think I can't play really an instrument really properly, so I'm a singer, so I do a lot of stuff with singing, so it's a lot of vocals here. And it might be not as interesting because this is just some lead vocals.
I'm walking through the night.
It's doubled.
I'm talking to myself. I'm paralyzed by fear. I'm worried about my mental health. The cage is open wide.
It's a very subtle double effect, but it did something. Usually I don't really like to do it with my voice because it's just doesn't give any additional layer. There are some singers in which doubling works really well. With my voice, most of the times it's rubbish, but here I did it. So you never know what works, so try everything. Yeah, so that's just some regular lead vocals. What sometimes I like to do is an additional track for the chorus and the verse, like separate treatments, because sometimes you need a little bit more on the chorus, and then you have the ability to do that. That's what we did here. It might sound a little bit different.
I don't want to bleed before I'm dying. I don't want to see the dead man rising. I scream at the top of my lungs.
Yeah, I sound like I'm close to dying, which is probably a good thing for Dominum. I doubled this quite a few times. I used to double it 2 times, like one on the left, one on the right. But how can less be more? More is more. So I have 4 tracks doubling the lead vocal, which sounds like this.
I don't want to bleed before I'm dying. I don't want to see the dead man rising. I scream at the top of my lungs. Don't get.
Yeah, and the same is with the harmony vocals, which are here. Let's have a listen. It's also quad-tracked.
I don't want to bleed before I'm dying. I don't want to see the dead man rising. I scream at the top of my lungs.
Let's see together how that sounds.
I don't want to bleed before I'm dying. I don't want to see the dead man rising. I scream at the top of my lungs. Don't get.
So 2L means second voice on the left side, plus 12 means it's an octave, so it's probably some octave of those here, if I did the labeling correct.
I scream at the top of my lungs. Don't get burned by the wrong ones.
Alright, that is some high voices, but it made sense when I did it. What else is going on here? Looks like some lower octave. I might be ashamed of playing this to you, but I do it anyway.
I scream at the top of my lungs.
Alright. And together, this vocal stack sounds like this.
I scream at the top of my lungs. Don't get bitten by the wrong ones. I don't want myself be torn to pieces.
Yeah, and that is probably what's going on here. What I forgot to mention is what also people in the 80s did a lot of times. Actually, everyone did it. We just don't do it anymore because I don't know why. So we started to do it again. I have a friend who is very, very great singer, and he's called Phil. Phil, if you've seen this, hello. And he doubles some of the songs that we do with his magical voice. And it is not always the case that if you double a singer with another singer that it works well together. Sometimes there are singers that don't blend that well and that it sounds like 2 separate singers, but we blend really well, fortunately. And so his voice and my voice together sounds like, so him alone sounds like this.
I don't want to bleed before I'm dying. I don't want to see the dead man rising.
That is just insane. He even sounds more like he's dying than I am. So let's hear the 2 of us dying together.
I don't want to bleed before I'm dying. I don't want to see the dead man rising. I scream.
you couldn't tell that it's two singers. It sounds like one big monster of singer that's singing a song. So yeah, this is what we do. So Phil, if you see this, thank you very much. And then with Dominum, there is one thing which I call the, well, I call it the Sabaton choirs, because I had to name them somehow, because Sabaton to me is really like, and warriors screaming and stuff. So it's like gang vocal thing. Probably they sing "Don't Get Bitten by the Wrong Ones," but let's see. Yeah, so this is called Sabaton choirs when I produce something. Sabaton is great and they have a great attitude, so I had to name it somehow. Had to give it a name. And there's also, this is probably a billion times me doing different voices, not only singing la la la, also doing and doing lots of funny stuff and putting reverbs, different kind of reverbs on it, so that it adds up to a huge wall of people screaming "Don't get bitten by the wrong ones," so it gets more urgent. And then there is one more thing that might be special to Dominum, and it's called the Danger Choirs, because there's a song of Dominum which is called Danger Danger, and it's this danger danger, and this is the first time that I did this. And this is all a billion voices, actually, not a billion, but probably, let's listen to one of those.
Most people are dead, but not gone enough for me.
So this is probably 16 times me singing this line, and there's another 16 Felix is singing this here.
Most people are dead, but not gone enough for me.
A few more.
Most people are dead, but not gone enough for me.
And there's just a tiny bit more. Let's see what's going on here. Aha! Just some whispering going on. And together it sounds like this.
Most people are dead, but not gone enough for me.
Yeah, and this is a special thing that might be a little bit unique for Dominum. Those kind of vocal arrangements that we like to do, and yeah, that gives just another color to the whole arrangement and gives some events here and there, because this is what you want. Actually, you want the music to be eventful, or at least I want the music to be eventful. And yeah, and I think that's probably it. That was one run through through a Dominum song. I don't know if you care about this, or if you're interested, just let me know. We could do more of that stuff. It's fun for me to travel back in time and see what I did 1 or 2 years ago, and it's inspiring somehow as well to now sit down again and write some music. So I hope this was fun for you, and see you next time.